Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's your boy, the Almighty Eclipse. I'm here with my boy Veach.
What's up?
And we are here to unveil the new Planeswalker Commander 2018. I'm excited. We're going to just try and reveal one for today. And hopefully this recording goes through smooth because yesterday we tried to do some stuff and there were some technical difficulties. But whatever, we worked through them. So, anyhow, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, all right. So the first one that we're going to reveal today is going to be Saheeli the Gifted, a.k.a.
Raven Simone.
Raven Simone. That's so Raven. I'm not going to lie. Looking at the artwork, it totally does look like Raven Simone.
Yep.
So, pretty cool. She's a Planeswalker that costs 2, 1 blue and 1 red. And if you +1, you can create a 1/1 colorless serval artifact creature token. Or you can +1, and the next spell that you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control as you cast it. That's pretty cool. So what's Affinity?
Affinity.
It gives it the Affinity ability.
And also works with Eldrazi's as well.
Oh, yeah. That's even horrible, man. Any colorless creature.
And a bunch of 0-drops and 1-drop artifacts, and then boom.
Man, she's going to be a problem. And then the -7, for each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens then gain haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of your next end step. So it sounds like she's trying to be extremely artifact creature based in this. So yeah, let's get into it, man.
All right.
Here.
Let's tear that thing up.
Okay. Let's push that to the side. Comes with a cool oversized card. Alright, so let's get into it. So, we'll start off with Saheeli the Gifted, of course. Now, it comes foiled. And she looks like she's going to be something fun to play with. All right, we have Brooded Clad, Telchor Engineer. Costs 4, 1 blue and a red. It's a legendary artifact creature, artificer. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. That can be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like
treasure tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Clues.
Or if you got something like what's that? Phyrexian
Processor.
Yeah.
The one where you pay your life.
You pay your life,
yep.
And now you can make your little 2/1s
Into
as big as those guys. Man, that can be something crazy. All right, now he's somebody I was definitely looking forward to. Tawnos, Urza's Apprentice. I'm not sure you could get a good view on what that looks like, but he has haste. He's a 1/3, cost 1 and a blue. If you tap 1 and a blue and him, you can copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. And you can choose new targets for that copy. Except mana abilities cannot be targeted. This is crazy. So if you have a worm-coiled engine and it dies, you can copy that triggered ability. And now you have 2/3/3 Death Touch and 2/3/3 Lifelinks.
Yeah.
That's, I mean...
And you can copy with Ring of Birthright, what's that? Strionic Resonator. Just keep more copying it.
And then what's even cool now, say there's a creature that has like a artifact or an aura on them that says it has indestructible or something like a totem. Now, if you play like Oblivion Stone, you can copy that triggered ability, yeah? So it would do it twice.
Yeah.
So then it would get rid of the creature, technically.
Yeah.
Man, he's going to be something cool. All right, it comes with a few tokens, some Thopters, clues, some mirrors, some survivors.
The artwork on the mirror token
on the survivors too. Yeah, they look pretty tough. The mirrors look super futuristic. It's pretty cool, man. All right, let's get into it.
Alright.
So we start off with some of the common and uncommon, and then work our ways into the rare. Okay, we have Loyal Drake, costs 2 and 1 blue. It's Flying Lieutenant for 2/2. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control your commander, draw a card. See, that's not that bad.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, not
pretty
that
straightforward.
bad. Pretty cool. Yeah, we're separated by color.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the other apprentice. We have the Loyal Apprentice. It's a human artificer with haste. At the beginning of your combat, if you control your commander, you create a 1/1 Thopter with flying, and it gains haste. See, that's pretty cool. It's almost kind of like the Locust Guard, but just for 1. But if you got this guy, he can double it.
And it works with that.
And then it starts making them. It's crazy. All right. Then we have the Geode Golem.
Geode
Golem. It's an artifact golem. Trample 5/3, costs 5. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast your commander from the command zone without paying its mana cost. What in the world? This is going to be banned in EDH soon. I'm telling you. Guys are going to figure out how to, rock the hell out of this guy and make him deal combat damage to somebody. That's cool. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty cool. Okay, of course, they had to throw in the Ethereum Sculptor. The Veldican Artificer costs 1 and a blue. It's a 1/2. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If you don't know about this, then you have not been playing Magic for quite some time. We have Into the Royal. It costs 1 and a blue. It has a kicker for 1 and a blue. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If it was kicked, you can also draw a card. Not too bad for some defense. Reverse Engineer. Costs 3 and 2 blue. It has Improvise. Oh, that's what it was. Wait, I thought Affinity is for artifacts.
Well, Affinity is for artifacts too. It's just on creatures. It just makes them cost less for each artifact you control. But Improvise is kind of like Convoke. So you can tap your artifacts to reduce it.
For a spell like that, yep.
So.
I get it. So Reverse Engineer, Sorcery, draw 3 cards. Definitely a good card. Especially if you're playing with artifacts. I'm just itching to see what artifacts. That's the first one, and that's already
technically this guy's the first one.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you, Booty Clad, but this one is so far crazy, though, for the ability that you can cast it without having. Oh, jeez. Anyways, Thirst for Knowledge costs 2 and a blue. Draw 3 cards, then discards 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. That should be nothing in this artifact deck. So we have Tidings. Nice, costs 3 and 2 blue. A sorcery to let you draw 4 cards. Right. See, that's a nice little change. If it had that Convoke or
Improvise,
that would be cool. Whirler Rogue costs 2 and 2 blue. It's a 2/2 human rogue artificer. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopters with flying. If you tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, target creature can't be blocked this turn. That's actually pretty cool. Especially if you have a commander that you can actually deal damage with. I know that this Planeswalker can't, but
this one definitely can.
Yeah, We have the Thopter Engineer. When the Thopter Engineer, it costs 2 and 1 red. It's a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact with flying. Artifact creatures you control have haste. See? Sometimes the uncommons can be as deadly as rares, man. I think that one's going to be going up in price soon because that's crazy. Alright, now we have this multicolored card, the Maverick Thopterist. Costs 3, 1 red, 1 blue. And it has Improvise. However, whenever it enters the battlefield, you create 2 colorless Thopter tokens. Oh, okay, so it's kind of like that one, but
it's a good card because
it can be cheaper if you have.
Most of the time, you can be playing for 2.
Yeah, you're playing for the 2, and you get the extra two creatures to come with it.
4 power and 4 toughness for 2.
Oh,
I'll take that.
Chief of Foundry. I have this guy right here. Definitely a nice card if you're playing artifact creatures because He's a 2/3 that costs 3, and other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. So definitely a must-have if you're playing artifact creature deck. Commander Sphere, the stapled card that comes in nearly every commander deck, right? Yeah. All right. Dreamstone Hedron. This is a card that I felt in the beginning was kind of like, because it costs 6. But once you got it out there, you got 3 mana. And if you already are mana heavy, you can sack it by tapping 3 and sacrificing this and draw 3 cards. So, I mean, this is becoming a nice EDH card. Same thing comes with for this one, the Hedron Archive. It's the same thing, but it costs 4 and it gives you 2 lands, and it also allows you to draw 2 cards. Back to it. So, Izzet Signet is the next artifact card. Costs 2. This is definitely a great card if you're playing a red and blue, because if you tap 1, it gives you the red and blue card. I mean, blue land that you need for some mana.
Red, yeah,
land mana. All right. Magnifying Glass. I've always kind of had a love-hate for this card. I don't know about you. It costs 3 and it gives you 1 mana, but if you tap 4 and tap this, you can investigate, which creates a colorless clue token that you can then tap 2 to sacrifice it. I think it's the 4 that's probably got me that.
Yeah.
I don't really like it too much. All right. Mind Stone. See, now this probably costs 2, maybe. See, Mind Stone's cool. Costs 2, gives you 1, and then you can tap 1 and sack it to draw a card. So, I mean, yeah. Pilgrim's Eye. Definitely a great... There she goes chiming in yet again, but it's no worries. Pilgrim's Eye. This costs 3. It's a 1/1 flying Thopter, but when it enters the battlefield, you can search for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Definitely good when you're playing multicolored cards. Oh, Prismatic Lens. Tap 2. This gives you 1 colorless, or you tap 1 in this, and you can get the color of your choice. Definitely great for any multicolored deck that you're playing. See, like that, when I look at stuff like that, it just makes me think Zaka, because I just want it to come out fast. All right, next we have Scrabbling Claws. Costs 1. It's an artifact. If you tap it, target player exiles a card from their graveyard. If you sacrifice it, exile target card from a graveyard and draw a card. So if you're playing against anybody who's graveyard love, then, Athros, then this is a good card that you might want in your deck just to make sure that they're not getting one over on you. All right, and next, the new staple card that comes in every commander deck, Soul Ring. Costs 1, gives you 2. Everybody hates it when it comes out on the first play. All right, next up we have Swift Boots. Costs 2.
Swift Foot Boots.
Swift Foot Boots. Yeah, I know. Swift Boots. That's what everybody has said for years, and it has gotten stuck into our head. Swift Boots. Yeah, I keep saying Swift Boots, and it's Swift Foot Boots. It's definitely another staple artifact that's in a lot of decks that is an equipment. Costs 2. You can tap 1 to equip. It gives equipped creature a hexproof and haste. Alright. Next up, Unstable Obelisk. It's a artifact that costs 3. You can tap it for 1 mana. However, you can tap 7, tap this, and sack it to destroy a target permanent. Definitely good for those annoying lands. Next up, we have Vessel of the Endless Rest. It's an artifact that costs 3. When it enters the battlefield, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I like this because you can tap it and it gives you 1 mana of any color. Not bad, because if there's something you need to put back in your library, or you don't want somebody to keep their Genesis or something like that in their library, shuffle it back. Okay, next up, Worn Power Stone. This is always in most of my decks. An artifact that costs 3 and gives you 2 mana. Comes into play tapped, so just be wary of that. Where did this land come from?
It's out of order.
Alright, next up. Ooh, looks like we finally got to some of the rares. We have Echo Storm. Costs 3 and 2 blue. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. You may choose new targets for the copies. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact. That can be pretty wicked. Especially if you got a cheap commander that you can play ever so often. Man, that artifact.
Does that remind me of what's that card? The one with the kicker.
Yeah, that it costs 5 kicker, and you get like 5 copies of each token that you create. Yeah, that's crazy. But you might not have to even do the kicker. That's what's. Jeez.
I think and it goes perfectly with this guy.
Yeah, and
all of this stuff, man.
Okay, next up we have the Veldikin Humiliator. It costs 3 and 1 blue. It's a 3/4 Veldikin wizard. It has Metalcraft. Whenever it attacks, if you control 3 or more artifacts, creatures your opponents control lose all abilities and have base and power toughness.
Wait, all creatures?
It says creatures your opponents control lose all abilities and have the power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. Oh my goodness, Sharpshooter is going into this deck. Him and Sharpshooter had just become best friends. Do you know how hideous that is? Even in a Rumble.
Gotta watch out when I use my Sigarda.
Oh my goodness.
Get rid of indestructibles, hexproof.
Man. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I just got a little chug reading that card right there.
Look at the flavor text. Who will stop me?
You? Alright, next up. Enchanter's Bane costs 1 and a red. Enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, target enchantment deals damage equal to its converted mana cost to its controller unless that player sacrifices it. Ooh,
yo, this is good against Akuma.
See this? Yeah, against Akuma and against the enchantment deck.
Don't be hating on the enchantment deck.
No, I'm not hating, but I'm saying that's why they probably made that, man. It only costs 2. Man, that's pretty wicked. Alright, next up. Saheeli's Directive. It has Improvise. It costs X and 3 red. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of artifact cards with a converted mana cost X or less from among them on the battlefield, and then you put all cards revealed that were not on the battlefield into your graveyard.
So it's kind of like a Genesis wave, but for artifacts.
That's pretty cool. I think the Ready deck, all red.
Yeah, even that, you just get the Ready deck too, and it goes with it.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy.
Oh.
Treasure Nabber. This is the guy I am most excited for. If you haven't already watched my music video, I'm Lord Gargamel, aka the Goblin King. Treasure Nabber. This guy right here. Costs 2 and 1 red. It is a 3/2 Goblin Rogue. Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until the end of your next turn. Oh, see, he looks like a gremlin on here with the big ears.
And look what he's holding.
He's holding a soul ring. You know, this, especially if you have something that you can use that allows you to sacrifice your artifacts, you just nab their artifact and then sack it so they don't get it back on the next. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Oh.
All right. Next one is Var Child, Betrayer of Keldor. Now, jeez. He's a legendary creature, human knight. Is a 3/3, costs 2 and 1 red. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player creates that many 1/1 red survivor creature tokens. Survivors your opponents control can't block, and they can't attack you or planeswalker you control. Whenever he leaves the battlefield, gain control of all survivors.
That's interesting.
I think I found my new potential play around with Commander later on after this. I think this could be pretty crazy. Find a way to Voltron and deal mad damage, and if he dies, then I get all those tokens. When he leaves, he could conjure his closet. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm telling you, so far this deck right now has crazy. Anyways, next up it is it's an artifact that costs 10. It's a 12/12 artifact golem creature, and it has flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. Has trample. Whenever it dies, create a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. So you mean to tell me I can flash a 12/12 creature and it costs 1 less for each attacking creature? So if you came at me with a bunch of creatures, I could potentially not have to pay for him.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll only be able to block one of them.
I'm just saying.
You'll still be taking a lot of damage.
No, I know, but it can still be crazy depending on what the scenario is, you know? So, man, it's pretty wicked. Anyways, next up, Coveted, right? Coveted Jewel. Costs 6. It's an artifact. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Okay, I like that. If you tap it, you can add 3 mana of any one color. That's pretty awesome. Whenever one or more of your creatures and opponents control attack. Whenever one or more creatures and opponent controls that attacks you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gain control of this. Untap it. Whoa. Yeah. That can be costly for you. So, yeah. Next up, Endless Atlas. It's an artifact that costs 2. You tap 2, and this, you can draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. So you definitely need some basic lands to be around that.
So it's good in monocolored decks too. So
yeah, definitely. For red, black.
Basically a white like plains, because they're lacking in a draw.
Yeah. Retrofitter Foundry costs 1. It's an artifact. If you tap 3, you can untap Retrofitter Foundry. If you tap 2 and tap it, you can create a 1/1 colorless serval token. If you tap 1 and tap it, you can sacrifice a serval, create a 1/1 flying Thopter token. However, if you tap this and sacrifice a Thopter, you can then create a 4/4 colorless construct artifact creature token.
Yo, I think that's the hidden gem of the deck right there.
This can be something
There's
crazy.
some crazy combos going on.
Especially if you
can keep on tapping it. Paradox Engine.
And the Basalt Monolith.
There you go.
The Basalt Monolith with the Blight Rings, is it?
First Earth? No, something like Bright Earth? Rings of Bright Earth?
Yeah, Rings of Bright Earth, yeah. Man, crazy. Okay, next up we have Soul of Phyrexia. It's a
New Phyrexia.
Soul of New Phyrexia, sorry. This is actually a mythic that's costs 6, and it's a 6/6 creature with trample. It's an avatar. If you tap 5 lands, permanents you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. If you tap 5 and exile this from your graveyard, permanents you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. This can definitely be a game-changing card, man. Ooh, I like these. Ether Gale. If you don't know what Ether Gale is, you definitely haven't been playing. Blue sorcery costs 3 and costs 2. Return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Definitely can work in your favor if you need to return one of your creatures to its hand that might have some crazy ability. Oh, I knew it. With blue, you have to have some sort of Leviathan or a Kraken or something. Inkwell Leviathan costs 7 and 2 blue. It's a 7/11 trampled creature with Island Walk. That is it. Straight to the point. You get this guy out there fast, they're going to be mad. Okay, we have Saheeli's Artistry. It's a sorcery that costs 4 and 2 blue. Allows you to choose one or both abilities. You can create a token that's a copy of a target artifact. And, or you can create a token that's a copy of a target creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That can be a game-changing card as well, man.
I'm liking this deck.
I've always wanted one. I've never went out and got one, but now I have one. Sharding Sphinx. It's a 4/4 artifact creature with flying, costs 4 and 2 blue. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact with flying. This has been a pain in my side for quite some times against Jimmy and his Sharoon.
Yeah, and those things multiply like crazy too.
Yeah, so, man. And then those start hitting. It's like the Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Next up, we have Thopter Spy Network. Oh, sweet. I always wanted this one too. It costs 2 and 2 blue. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter with flying. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. There's no reason why they didn't put these two cards next to each other, right? What's funny, I've been wanting to trade this guy for quite some time, but haven't got around, and now I have the card I've been wanting. Blasphemous Act. Definitely one of the staple cards you should have in any red deck in EDH. Costs 8 and 1, but it costs 1 less for each creature that's on the battlefield. Deals 13 damage to each creature. Definitely a great board wipe. Chaos Warp. Now this is the third Chaos Warp I have. Costs 2 and costs 1. It is an instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it is a permanent, they can put it onto the battlefield. Could be good, could be bad. Sometimes necessary. Next up, Hellkite Igniter. It is a 5/5 flying red dragon with haste. Costs 5 and 2 red. Now, if you tap 1 and a red, it gets +X+0 until the end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Man, the ideas of decks that I'm getting looking at these cards. Magma Quake! Definitely a good card. I love Magma Quake. Costs X and 2 red. It's an instant that deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. So if you planeswalker commanders out there, beware Magma Quake. Alright, next we have an artifact. Blink Moth Urn. Costs 5. At the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, if Blink Moth Urn is tapped, that player adds 1 for each artifact they control.
Yo, I've been always wanting to play that because Meg, his Ulamog, he's been always doing that.
Yeah, because he primarily just has artifacts in that deck. Bosch Iron Golem. That's so funny. So I've traded this card to my cousin quite some time ago, and I got it back. It's 8. Cost 8. It's a 6/7 artifact legendary golem with trample. If you tap 3 and 1 red, you can sacrifice an artifact, and it deals damage to the mana cost to any target. Love any target, because now they've gotten so specific with that. Okay, Darksteel Juggernaut. It's a artifact creature that costs 5. It's indestructible, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts you control, and it has to attack each combat if able. I mean, it's fine. It's an indestructible creature, so. Duplicate. I just got this, man. Now I have 2. I got a duplicate of duplicate. It's a 2/4 creature that costs 6. It's a shapeshifter. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-token creature. As long as that card is exiled with duplicate, and it's as long as the card that was exiled by duplicate is a creature card, its power and toughness And creature types are what of that creature is, and it's still a shapeshifter. That's pretty cool. I've always liked it.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, it's still cool. Mimic that. How I know is the light.
Oh.
Mimic that. It's an artifact that costs 3. It has imprint. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may exile that card. If you do, return each other exiled card with Mimic that to its owner's graveyard. That's awesome because you get it back. Anyways, costs 3. I mean, if you pay 3 and tap it, you can create a token of that creature. It gains haste, and then you exile it at the beginning of the next end step.
So a little neat trick with this, you do it at the end of the turn.
Yep, so you keep it at the beginning of your end
and then you make another one.
You can make another one, so now you have 2 creatures with haste.
Boom.
Exile at the end of that turn. Alright, Mirror Works. It's an artifact that costs 5. Whenever another non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. That can be pretty... Oh man, so many ideas. What's the blue wizard artifact that... Memnarch. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking like of a Memnarch artifact deck.
Well, you can't use it on Memnarch.
No.
Legendary.
No, I know, but I'm saying like a Memnarch artifact deck. You're just taking their artifact. If they don't even have artifacts, Memnarch will make them artifacts and take them, and then you can make even more copies of other artifact creatures you have. Jeez, it could be ugly. Anyways, next up we have Mirror Battlesphere. This is definitely one of my favorites. I love to use this card with Kiki-Jiki. Costs 7. It's a 4/7 artifact mirror construct creature. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creatures. However, when this attacks, you can tap a mirror creature you control, and for as many that you tap, this gets plus X plus 0 until the end of turn. And this is what I like about it. It deals damage to that player or planeswalker it's attacking. Man. Alright, next up we have Prototype Portal. Cost 4. It's an artifact with imprint. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact card from your hand. Tap X and tap this. Create a token that's a copy of the exile card. X is the converted mana cost. Oh my goodness. Soul Ring late in the game, just to be crazy, you 1 1 1 1 1 1, and then if you can untapping it and man.
Wait, what are those artifacts that cost 0?
Like the Thopters?
No. Mana Crypt.
Yeah.
Just do it for 0. Just tap it. We'll get another Mana Crypt.
Jeez. Oh, this has always been one of my faves. Psychosis Crawler. He's in my Locust God deck. I wonder why. Anyways, Psychosis Crawler's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. So that's why he's in the Locust God deck. Because I love to draw. Give me a pencil too. I love to draw. Give me a gun. I love to draw. Not people. Anyways, next. Scuttling Doom Engine. I feel like I've seen this before. It's a artifact construct creature that costs 6 and it's a 6/6. It says it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So any of those little wieners cannot block it.
Locust got insected.
Yeah, exactly. However, whenever he dies, it deals 6 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. I think Kiki-Jiki just found its new friend.
Oh yeah, make the copy of the token.
It dies. Oh no, man! Jeez. Oh man, this deck so far has like Steel Hellkite. See, he's in Kiki-Jiki. This is why it's telling me you need to put this in Kiki-Jiki. 6. Cost 6 is a 5/5 flying dragon artifact creature that if you tap 2, you can pump it up by +1/+0. But if it deals damage, you can tap X and it will destroy each non-land permanent that shares the converted mana cost of X. So this has definitely helped me out in numerous occasions. All right, next up we have Thopter Assemblies. All the cards that I've been wanting to get, I got them. Thopter Assembly. It's a 5/5 flying Thopter that costs 6. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, you return this to your hand and create 5 1/1 colorless Thopters with flying.
Yeah, it just replaces itself.
Yeah, man. It's like I spread myself out. Crazy. All right, next up is Unwinding Clock. It's an artifact that costs 4. Untap all artifacts you control during each Seaborn use for artifacts. I mean, come on. Like, Shroom, I know, yeah, if Jimmy, if you're watching this and you don't buy this deck and soup up Shroom, I'm going to make a new Shroom deck and go after it.
Or Josh, or Brea.
Yeah, or Brea. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Need that.
All right, so next up
are
the lands. So we'll just bypass all the basic lands.
Whoa, go back. I think that. Nope. Okay, no.
Okay, that's all the islands. All right, what we got next? We got all the mines. Okay, here we go. We got some non-basics. Let's see what we got. We got Forge of Heroes. Gives you 1 colorless. However, you can tap it and choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a 1/1 counter on it if it's a creature, or a loyalty if it's a planeswalker. That can be pretty wicked.
I think it works well with the flip planeswalkers too.
Yeah.
So
because if it's a creature, you put a 1/1, and then when it flips,
then they come back in, just tap it.
Right. Next up, Buried Ruins. It gives you 1 colorless. You tap 2 and sacrifice this. You can return a artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Huh. I wonder why they put it in this deck. Command Tower. Staple command card. Dark Steel Citadel. Okay, look. They made it uncommon now. It's an indestructible land that gives you 1 colorless. Definitely good for any artifact decks. Foundry of Consoles. It's a land that gives you 1 colorless, but if you tap 5 and tap this and sacrifice it, you can create 2 colorless Thopters with flying tokens. Oh, then we have Great Furnace, the other artifact land. We have the Highland Lake that comes into play tapped, but it gives you 1 blue or red. We have Is It Boiler Works. Comes into play tapped. However, you need to return a land to your hand, but it will give you 1 blue and 1 red. Definitely, I love those type of lands. Then we have Is It Guildgate. It comes into the battlefield tap and gives you 1 red, 1 blue.
Yep, there's the other one.
Here goes the other artifact land. I thought so. Seat of the Synod. It gives you 1 blue. Then we have Swiftwater Cliffs. It comes into play tap, gives you 1 land when it enters the battlefield, and it gives you 1 red or 1 blue. Yeah. And if you want to discover more at learnmagic.wizards.com, just giving them a shout out, because if it wasn't for WotC, I would not be playing this game. Actually, if it wasn't for Jimmy, I would never got introduced to the game. Anyways, this concludes our unveiling of Saheeli, the Gifted. And yeah, go out to your local magic store if you're in the Fairfield County battlegrounds in Norwalk, and I'm not sure if it's Fire and Dice or Card Carriers in Milford, but it's in the plaza where Kmart's at, and battlegrounds is off of exit 39.
It's 40.
40A. No, 40A.
Or 40B.
40A, I believe, off of the Merritt near McDonald's. So, yeah, so thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, the Almighty Eclipse, a.k.a. Lord Gargamel. This is Veach, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, that like button, and leave some comments and all that good stuff. We'll try to post up maybe a card or two so you can get the visuals of what they mean during the set or whatever. But, yeah, peace.
All right.